I'm sorry, y'all. I was chewing and I thought I had enough time. So, my apologies. But listen, let me turn off my camera for a minute so I can finish chewing. Listen, it's Thursday night. It's trending topics. Flip the script. Hey, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's trending topics. I'm glad y'all in the building. Don't know the routine. Hit that like button, okay? Support the diva by hitting the like button. Support the diva by subscribing if you're not already a subscriber. But I'm so glad that y'all in the building and y'all spending time with me. Okay. Hold on. I'm almost finished chewing here. All right. I got my life together a little bit here. Listen, tonight's trending topics is called shocking stories. Shocking stories, okay? Shocking stories because we got this Boston bus attack. So this young lady, she has, I guess an anger management problem, and she got into an argument with an elderly woman on the bus, and she just decided she was going to push the woman off the bus. Thank God they found her and arrested her. But how do you get so angry at someone you don't even know and you just shove them off the bus? You can't make this stuff up. Shocking stories. And then listen, I'm just waiting for the minute, the day, the hour. But this David, rapper, singer, entertainer, I'll call him. That story is getting messier by the minute. And I don't think it's coincidence. I think, like they said, it's circumstantial evidence. She had a boyfriend named David. They find her in the trunk of a car, and the singer name is David. Live streams are surfacing with those two in it together. They got pictures together. Their family members that confirm that they were together. There's also family members confirming that pretty much one day she left the house and just never came back. Now, here's where it's really problematic. They was looking for the minors in the Diddy case. Well, in this David situation, he is the minor. He is the minor. This girl at best was 13. And I want to say she probably was younger, but we'll roll with 13. 13 when she started talking to this man. If he's 5 years different, if it's, what is it, a 5-year difference between them? So she was 13, he was at least 18 or 19. Sad is an understatement. And it's ironic how art imitates life. He got a song called Romantic Homicide. Some of the lyrics say, I killed you and I ain't even shed a tear. He got a song called Celeste. Yeah, flip the script. He's going to jail. But you got to be some type of different to be able to be on tour. Now, the only flip side of this is that maybe she moved in with him. He went on tour. He couldn't bring her. He left her at the house and somebody else was living in the house too. And maybe somebody else did this. I don't know. But I do know right now, it ain't looking good. In all the clips I see, they say, honey, that Texas is like a driving computer. And the family started a GoFundMe so that they can have some type of funeral, I guess, and memorial service for her. But, it's just, they got her text messages, flip the script. Oh, my God. Talk to me in the chat. Let me know what they found in the text messages. But you got to be some type of evil It's one thing for this young lady to be unalive. Oh, you was asking. No, I don't know. But I know that thanks for the clarification, flip the script. I don't know, but what I do know is that they said that Tesla is no joke when it comes to documenting everything that you do. But you know what? All of these new cars, even if you don't buy the expensive one, I told y'all I got a Hyundai out there. In the Hyundai, there's a button for an emergency. There are some cars that as soon as you have an accident, the car automatically dials 911. So you can't be just leaving the scene of an accident. But I got a button I could push for help. These cars are recording more than you know. And then, I got the GPS in the car. I'm sure it's probably recording everywhere I go, even when I don't ask it, can you help me get here or there? He's in trouble. I think it's just a matter of time before they come clean him up. And they got stuff from the house. And they use that blue light. Even if you clean up blood, they can use this light to tell the blood splash over here, there, everywhere. You ever drop the glass in your house and you swept, vacuumed, mopped, and then weeks later you like, oh my God, there's still a piece of glass over there, and I thought it was so thorough. Yeah, you ain't lying the time the big brother is watching. So we're going to see what happens in this case. I feel for his family, but again, Celeste, rest in peace. Now, there's a young lady, Tiamoya Moore. So the daughter, she had more than one daughter, but one of the daughters shot her, and she's no longer alive. I know people who parents were alcoholics, drug addicts, and they did the most. And they was never there for them their whole childhood, and they still love their parents to death. What in the world is going on when a child unalives their parent? That's on the Menendez brothers. They can't get out. They tried to appeal. They've been in the jail behind bars for years. They can't get out. They took the lives of their mother and father. This young lady unalived her mother. That's why y'all must stand by this. I really feel 10 toes down. Nobody needs to have a pow-pow unless you are the police. It never goes well. Hey, Diva, the T has a home video with David and Celeste together making the video. Yeah, there's a lot of, thank you, Increase Man. Yeah, there's a lot of videos and photos. Listen, he cannot deny that they had some type of relationship. And unfortunately, she was underage. Now, there's underage and there's underage. She was underage. Let's pretend she was 16, maybe about to be 17. You think, oh, there's one thing. This girl was 13 when they was having said relationship. And you cannot convince me. I just don't understand. What would a 13-year-old and an 18 or 19-year-old have in common? You still in grade school. And her family came out and said that she wasn't going to school. Well, that's a no-brainer. And the only reason why I'm leaning back off of the mother, because unfortunately her daughter is no longer here. But something was going on in that household that your daughter was just out there like that. Now, that don't mean somebody had the right to do anything to her. But you know what? I told y'all before on my channel, the streets, 9 times out of 10, the streets will win. The streets will win. You got to be careful when you're in these streets. The streets will win. And when I was growing up too, they said ain't nothing good happening out in the streets after midnight. Like, where you going at midnight to do what? To be with who? Whoever you trying to go with, they need to be in their house and you need to be in yours. Unless you grown, why are you in the streets after midnight? And at 13, I think 9 o'clock should be the limit. 13, you have a boyfriend and I don't even lay eyes on this man? Ay. We're going to talk about it, though. We're going to talk about this Tiamoya Moore. The going too soon by the hands of our own daughter. And they talking about she a minor, she young, your brain is not developed. It was developed enough for you to go pick up a pow. We got to say allegedly, because everybody is innocent to proven guilty. So you grown to run the streets, then we going to label you as grown. Don't say you grown and you running the streets, you having sex, you having babies. I'm not saying this girl did. I'm just saying, like, you having sex, you having babies, you want to do grown-up stuff. Then when you do something and get in trouble, you're going to get the grown-up consequences. You want to act grown, well, tag you in. You're going to get the grown-up consequences. Now you want to sit somewhere and perhaps cry, I was too young, I didn't know, I wasn't sure. No. And then I'm going to show a little a clip of the like the balloon release service, just a little update for that, what's her name, Rebecca Meeks. And that whole story is just sad. It's a lot going on with that. It's sad. And the mother is in pain, and the little boy he's in pain. Your mother writes a nice note, have a good school year, and the next thing you know, they telling you your mother's no longer here. You like, what? When people are no longer together, let's do a public service announcement for all these people that want to lay down and have kids, and then they want to act a fool. You can't stand a person afterwards. You're going to lay down and have a kid with somebody, and then afterwards, they're your public enemy number one, and then you want to unalive them. No, listen. Once you lay down with somebody, that's why they said, you know what, you should get married. And I'm not saying marriages don't work. But everybody want to just be laying around with whomever. Then you create a baby, and then you want to say you can't stand the person, and then y'all fighting forever and destroying an innocent kid's life. And I'm about to shut up because I talked a lot, but let me do this one last mention. Cardi B announced that she is pregnant. Stefan Diggs is the baby father. She's pregnant with baby number 4. They're both excited. Yada, yada, who. This has had nothing to do with Cardi B, but it's a segue to the conversation I want to have to the young ladies out there. Whether it's your boyfriend or you're married and y'all break up and y'all got kids, even if you don't have kids, give yourself a moment to heal before you roll into the next relationship. Oh, Rihanna just had a baby girl. Oh, congratulations, Riri. They were saying she probably was pregnant with a girl. Congratulations. Thank you, Increased Manners. Congratulations to Rihanna. So you break up. Give yourself a minute to heal. Because if you don't, 9 times out of 10, the man you broke up with, you're going to end up with that same type of character with a different name. Because you didn't even get a minute to debrief. So now there's Stefan Diggs. There's a woman out there who is suing him like, well, she wants a paternity test. Because her 6-month-old baby, she's saying he's the father. Now, math was not my best subject. I don't even know if school was the greatest thing, but I did it. But math was not my best subject. But I said, hold on, wait a minute, wait a second here. The baby is 6 months. Was born this year, April 2025, or is that right? 6 months. The baby's 6 months. Whatever the baby, I think the baby was born in April. The baby's 6 months. And he didn't say that is no way this baby could be mine. He said he don't think it's his. I said, okay, so that means he ain't denying he slept with the girl. But when this girl was pregnant in December, wasn't he already with Cardi B? And then Cardi B just separated from Offset just last year. All I can say to y'all is protect your temple. Was he dating Cardi B and the girl? And if you look at the girl, her and Cardi B look like they could be sisters. So he definitely got a type. I just feel like, did you jump out the pot into the frying pan? I wish her well. But she complained about how we're all set. She paid all the bills for the kids, the nannies, the schools, the dance class, the basketball, the roller skating class, the piano class, the karate class, the Tai Chi class, the Pilates class, the yoga class. She paid for all that for the kids. She already had the 3. Her new man had an 8-year-old. Now perhaps this 6-month-old and your baby. How much you think he gonna contribute? Because this one is claiming paternity in LA, and you know LA is expensive, so he's gonna have to dish out the cash. It's just a mess. But listen, guys, y'all know what I need in the chat, because I'm gonna bring the people on in the building. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title's called Shocking Stories. We got the Boston bus attack. This young lady, she actually legit. She shoved this woman off the bus. I mean, where's the anger coming from? We got this Celeste Rivas update. The singer David. I think they just waiting to come clean him up. Okay, excuse me 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry. I thought it was an emergency. The kid calling me. All right. So where was I at? And this Tiamoya Moore unalived by her daughter. Let me bring the people on in. Hey, Callie. Hey, Julius. Hey,
Hey,
Katrina.
y'all. Hit the
Hey,
like button. Oh, yeah, Diva.
Mm-hmm.
The 13-year-olds, they need to be in the house at 7 o'clock. Unless
Well,
they
thank you for adjusting the time. You know what? I said that. I proved that message, Julius. Thank you for adjusting the time. 7 o'clock. Well, this is crazy. But you know what, y'all? Let me go ahead. Let me share this first update story. I really do feel for this Ramika Meeks. I feel for her mother. This whole situation was just a sad mess. But you know, I feel like the world is just becoming so accustomed to the violence. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just insane. They had a little like vigil, I guess you call it, for her. Let's take a look.
To support an amazing baby.
Anybody want a marker?
Hurt, sadness, and broken hearts are expressed on this board for 31-year-old Ramika Meeks Blackman.
I am broken. I am so broken.
Surrounded by family and overwhelmed by grief, Tina McMiller says she's heartbroken after losing her daughter to gun violence. Friday night, many gathered in Inglewood to remember a woman who was loved by many.
And the love she showed everybody, y'all showed it all.
On Monday, Meeks Blackman had just dropped off her son at school near Cermak Road and State Street when police say the victim was involved in a physical altercation with another person. The offender then took out a gun and fired it, hitting Meeks Blackman in the face. She was rushed to Stroger Hospital, where she died.
I ask that you give us strength. Give us strength, Father, for every one of us, because we're going to need it in this moment.
Hundreds of pink, white, and silver balloons sit outside of Inglewood STEM High School. Her mother said she was a kind, loving, and sweet mother. Now she's left with raising her grandson.
I need y'all to pray for my baby. Yeah, we will. We got him. He has sat down. He don't want to be around nobody.
Chicago police say the person taken into custody after the fatal shooting has been released without charges. Her family is eagerly seeking justice. Vermika, also known as Big Meeks, was soon released among thousands of other balloons. Reporting in Inglewood, Sade Gray, CBS News, Chicago.
Just super sad. Just gone too soon, only 31. Just a 60-second thought. If anybody has it, that was just a little update story. Callie, anything you want to say with that?
It's a really sad story. To my knowledge, the woman still has not been arrested.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Okay. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful at all, but I did overhear a phone call from a woman claiming to be Ramika's cousin. And within that phone call, she did make a comment that made me go, when she said, you know how Ramika gets when she gets upset. I could be wrong, but I'm really wondering if this is self-defense and there is some details that have been misconstrued or kind of twisted around because people are now upset that this woman is gone. Time will tell, but I find it really strange that she hasn't been arrested yet. And it's the same thing with the kid from Love and Hip Hop. They're basically, the police said, we found self-defense. We just want the DA to sign off. This might end up being the same thing.
Ooh. We don't know the full truth, right? And I hear you, but the problem I'm having is that they claim on the scene that the baby daddy had her in a headlock.
But that makes me wonder if, first of all, if it was literally a headlock or if he was trying to restrain her because they were fighting.
Yeah, it's a lot going on with this stories. I also heard that he allegedly had on a bulletproof vest. I also heard that he, because of maybe some prior history or whatever, maybe he was previously in jail, he wasn't supposed to be around pals and claimed that he didn't know that the other girl had a pal. It's messy, but yeah, it's messy. Julia, 60 seconds on this.
It's messy and a sad situation. I'm still applaud at those adults squaring off at the kids' school. It's just messy.
Yeah, thank you, Julius. H. Fisher, I heard that too. This whole thing is just sad. I don't know what else to say about this thing, but sad. Wayne, your thoughts?
I don't know enough about it, but I'm assuming that if the woman got off, if they let her go, it must be some question. They're not letting nobody go, knowing that they've actually unalived somebody and they have evidence. Okay, and was this woman a bully? And if it is, it's like you get the bully send off, all the flowers and all the stuff, just like the guy the other night. He terrorized the neighborhood, and his brother wants to say that, oh, he was kind, he was good, he was all this. So like I said, I don't know enough, because this woman, got unalive, she could have been the culprit. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you. 48.
Hey Diva. I think I agree with what everybody else says so far, but I also think that it's like time for the community to come together and start um holding each other accountable and trying to find out uh come up with better ways to like alleviate these kind of conflicts. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yes.
have to do something. If the government isn't gonna do it for everybody, everybody has to in every community, like take control of the community and get together and try to come up with some solutions. It's pretty much the culture of Chicago. I really think that's probably why everyone is kind of like numb to it a little bit or like like another one. And it shouldn't be like that because every life is important.
I agree with you. Katrina, your thoughts?
I'm still saying she was not in danger. She went to her car and got the pow. She could have just stayed in her car and locked the door. Now, if the girl was coming to her car trying to drag her out the car, that's a totally different thing. But you was free to go to your car, then to come back with that and pow this girl. Whether they call it self defense or not, I don't see it as self defense because if you ain't got away from the danger, then you going back out, getting yourself back in danger because you had the pow. And then that was a mutual comeback because she didn't have no pow. So I'm thinking that it shouldn't be no self defense. Simply because the reason is you went to your car and you should have stayed in your car because you weren't in any danger. All you had to do was lock your doors. Now if she came to your car, did something else that's totally different. But you was out of danger for a while. And I still blame that guy because he's caught up in all this mess anyway. And then like I said, one might be going to jail, one they had to bury, and now he out to do well. She's still out, but when whatever happened, he's still out there to do whatever he need to do. That's all I got.
Yeah. Who I do believe yeah, we need more conflict resolution. We need more community. We need more caring about each other. It's just sad that violence seems to be the answer to everything now, and it shouldn't be. I'm gonna roll into the next story with the Boston commuter who shoved the older person off the bus like that. And I think you know what too, maybe unfortunately it needs to be harsher punishment for some of these crimes, and maybe that will start to deter some people and have them think before they do this crazy stuff. Let's take a listen.
Passenger violently shoved off an MBTA bus. Tonight, transit police are searching for the woman responsible. The victim actually landed face first outside of this bus stop in Roxbury. Thank you for staying with us. I'm David Wade.
And I'm Courtney Cole. Now, we do want to warn you, this video is very disturbing. But as WBC's Logan Hall shows us, passengers don't seem too surprised to see it.
MBTA passengers are horrified after shocking video shows the moment an elderly passenger was pushed off a bus.
That could have been my mother.
Witnesses say paramedics were called to treat the passenger who was hurt when she landed on the sidewalk. The incident happened last week at Martin Luther King Boulevard and Warren Street in Roxbury. While passengers we spoke to say the video is disturbing, it's not out of the ordinary. One passenger says he just saw a fight on the last bus he rode.
Yeah, they definitely just fought on the bus like 2 minutes ago, so like 10 minutes ago on the other bus. So yeah, that definitely happens a lot.
MBTA police are still looking for the suspect.
It happens all the time, like especially like when you're around here. I can go like throughout my life, how many times I didn't seen that with either like people acting like that or even like people that's on drugs and homeless, like treating like other people like that.
Passengers like Chris Rutter, who take the bus regularly, say incidents like this are happening all too often.
We should have like undercovers that's hopping on the train or buses just to make sure stuff like that is safe so they can step in to be like, yo, nah.
Anyone with information about the attack or the identity of the suspect is urged to reach out to transit police. In Roxbury, Logan Hall, WBZ News.
Ooh, I mean, just evil. Hold on 1 second. Let me share the screen again. So crazed Boston commuter shoves elderly woman off the bus in a disturbing video. An unhinged commuter has been arrested after a startling video showed her violently shoving an elderly woman off a Boston bus, causing the victim to slam face first on the sidewalk. The MBTA Transit Police announced Wednesday night that detectives have located and arrested the suspect, whose name was not released, following the disturbing September 8th incident in Roxbury, Massachusetts. Police said the incident occurred around 1 p.m. at the intersection of Martin Luther King Boulevard and Warren Street, approximately 3 miles from Fenway Park. You know, and then you're doing it on such a historic place. Like, you're trash.
Get the fuck off the bus. Come here, baby. Get off the bus. Get off the bus. Get off the bus. Go. Get off the bus. Get off the bus. You're disrespectful as fuck. People gotta go to work, girl. Don't get this woman in, bro.
Alarming security footage from inside the bus showed the suspect first shoving the elderly woman toward the bus open doors as she held on for dear life. The alleged bus bully then delivered a second forceful push that launched the senior citizen out the passenger entry door and face first into the hard concrete in front of horrified bus riders. It took about 20 minutes for paramedics to treat the passenger, during which bystanders and the bus driver stood over and helped the victim. Police said the elderly woman was conscious and did not suffer any serious injuries. The unidentified suspect, who was rolling a baby in a stroller when she committed the heinous alleged assault, fled before police arrived. There was a lot of people there trying to figure out what was transpiring because we just saw an elderly lady fall on the ground and didn't know what was going on. Witness Mark Revett told the news on Monday. While it took police time to locate the suspect, a woman from the area, Dorothy Stringer, said she recognized the assailant. I seen that girl a lot of times. Her attitude, she needs a change, Stringer told the outlet. She says some anger management. That's what she needs. Go to anger management because that's wrong what she did. The Post reached out to the MBTA Transit Police for a comment, and they had no comment. This is super sad. She shoved that woman off the bus. Unbelievable. Callie, your thoughts?
Hopefully, the DA will give her a higher charge of elder abuse and not just assault. I'm really hoping for that. She needs to go to prison.
Yeah.
I don't care about no anger management. She needs to do a good 5 to 8 years.
Ooh.
I'm dead serious. If she ever needs to be let out. I don't look, we are not the world psychiatrist.
Oh, you went. I don't hear you now, Callie. Is it just me? Okay.
And they have no choice but to take public transportation. Now, one thing that I will say, and I have given this advice to many women, if you have a choice, don't take it because it is dangerous. And I wish that we lived in a different world. I took public transportation all through college, and I had to stop because I literally felt like I was going to get taken out of here. I was being followed home. I witnessed someone get robbed right next to me. Someone snatched my purse. Like, it just is not, if you are in a situation where you're just doing it to save money, it's not worth it. It's not worth putting yourself in that type of risk. Like I said, I understand that there are some people that have vision problems or they live in a city where it's not feasible to drive. But there are also some people who, they're trying to save money. They're on a budget. I would say, nothing is worth risking your life like that because public transportation is very dangerous, especially for women.
You're not lying. It is very dangerous. And yes, Roy said also lock her up. Julius, your thoughts?
She lucky I wasn't the elderly woman. Listen, I'm feisty with Bostonian DNA. She would have got maced. She would have got maced. Yeah, I'm in concurrence with everybody else. Lock that classless trash bag up. She could take her anger out on that pedestal that she gonna be sitting in because since she wanna be so impatient, if she could have a seat for 23 hours a day, trash bag.
Thanks, Julius. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, me too. I wanted to go to prison, but before she go to prison, I hope two nice sized, healthy black women that know how to open up a can of whoop ass on somebody and beat the hell out of her, and then send her to prison. That's it.
Thank you. 48.
Okay, so I agree with what everybody said. Like she needs to go to jail, needs to be like some consequence for her. But I'm wondering why nobody like on the bus like restrained her to be there. You know, you even I mean you just seen her shove this old lady off the bus and you see her trying to get away. Why no one ain't restrained her? Now I know some people might say, well, it's not safe or it's just a risk that I think that I would have to take. And I just looking at it, I feel like I would have reacted and like trying to apprehend that lady. I think it was disgusting that and then you see these young black guys there and they're talking about it, but they nobody restrained this woman. Sickening. And hey Royer.
Thank you. Yeah, it's sick that she got away. It's even sicker that she did this in front of her baby. Like this woman, how do you get that angry that you literally shove somebody off the bus? That is wild. And the bus driver, I'm thinking you had to just be sitting there. Like it's just crazy. Katrina, your thoughts?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you don't raise your kids right or raise your kids with respect. Because everybody know you do not mess with old people. God don't like that. Or babies. Or fools. But this is what happens when you don't raise your child the right way. She's doing this to this old lady. I wonder what she's doing to her child. I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying you got an attitude like that could flip that quick. What are you doing to with your child? And then you push this woman out the door. You could have actually unalived her. She's already old. Probably could have broke a bone, broke some ribs or something. Face could have got fractured. This is ridiculous. Yeah, she need to be caught and she need to be learned to taught a lesson. She honestly do. And it's sad. I hope the little old lady is okay now, but that's just disrespect on so many levels, and it doesn't make any sense, girl. This is a old woman. What if somebody did that to your baby? How would you feel? Because your lady was defenseless and your child is defenseless. So if somebody did that to your child, how would you feel about that? But anyway, they need to find her. That's all I got.
Roy, yeah, welcome in the building. What's your thoughts?
Hey, Auntie Diva. Hello, Train. It's good to see everybody. Great family. Listen, Auntie, everyone, one thing that I have noticed is that the United States is the one country that throws away our seniors. We disrespect them, we mistreat them, we don't provide for them. A lot of our seniors, especially our male seniors, they have fought in the wars, World War II. They have been a part of so many travesties, as well as our senior women. They have stood by their husbands, been there when people went away from war to help take care of them, to comfort for them. We have so many of our seniors who are losing their homes now. They don't have the ability to be able to depend on a social security or, their 401k that they put into. And it's just the lack of disrespect that we constantly have for our elders in this world where they built this world for us to see where we are now. We're not in a perfect place, no, but we are in a place where we should be able to support and help those who have led us here. So I think this is really, really sad. I think it's, definitely a situation where we need to find this lady. First of all, even inside of jail time, yes, but she needs to give this lady an apology. You owe this lady an apology. And I feel like that's where we need to start as well, giving those apologies to the people that deserve them, especially for doing nothing wrong. This lady is literally trying to get on the bus, like to get to wherever her destination needs to go to. Who knows? God only knows where she was going. And I'm sure she did not think that morning that I'm going to get up to get on public transportation, wishing I'm sure she had a car, but to get on public transportation and to get knocked down. Utterly ridiculous, utterly disrespectful. And, karma is coming around quick these days. So, lady, be on the lookout because it's coming.
Be on the lookout. You know what? And a lot of people in the chat are making some good points. There's people with disabilities, and public transportation is their only option and their only way. This was egregious, and I know it's scary jumping in between people now. It is very scary because you can end up losing your life trying to like save somebody else. But
Can I say something?
yeah, go ahead, 48. Yes.
And I also wanted to say it looked like the lady had a walker. And then also think of her age at 95. Like she remembers when Rosa Parks fought for her to be able to sit any damn place she wanted to sit on a bus. So just,
Yeah, she was saying the lady was disrespectful, and so you're better than her because you told her to get the F off the bus and then pushing her off the bus. This is just so crazy, and I do agree with everybody. She needs to do significant jail time. Maybe that'll help her get her anger management order. I didn't think they said the lady's age. But if they did, either way, I know she was elderly and I know it was wrong. And listen, even if this wasn't an older woman, who are you to be pushing somebody off the bus? It's crazy. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and roll into, let me see what story I have left here. Is this, let me see. I'll do this. I'll do the young lady where she was unfortunately unalived by her daughter. Let's just see.
Welcome and thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Tonight we begin with a tragedy out of Galveston over the weekend. A 16-year-old girl in custody after allegedly shooting and killing her own mother, Tiamoya Moore. Moore was 34 years old. Galveston police say she was found on her porch after being shot multiple times. Moore's 16-year-old daughter, whose identity is not being released, is in custody without bond because of that issue, her age. Fox 26 spoke to Moore's family about this tragedy.
The last couple of days, I've been feeling like I'm losing my mind. I was questioning, like, why? Why would you do this to your own mama? I just can't believe she's gone, for real.
When you got the news,
I was devastated. Devastated. Didn't want to believe it.
Now, Moore leaves behind 4 children. Tonight, we break this down and its bigger implications. What could have led to this? How do families and communities respond? And what can be done to prevent tragedies like this from happening? Joining us to talk about it, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Bioji Akingbala and therapist Dr. Bernadette Smith. Glad to have you both here. First of all, Bioji, what do we know about this case? All weekend long, whenever it was on the news, I would see people stop in their step and watch it. You know, it just is shocking to so many people out there. But what do we know so far?
Based upon the reporting, not much, aside from the fact that neighbors heard yelling in the nearby house where the shooting took place, called 911. Officers arrived to the scene and found the mother's body. Neighbors said that the daughter was home around the time, but she wasn't there when the officers arrived. As they conducted their investigation, she apparently came back to the scene of the crime, and she was then subsequently detained. So as of right now, there's still a lot of information that we don't have regarding the facts and why this happened.
Now, we have seen videos on social media of them collaborating together, looking like they had a good time. I mean, could that tell us anything? But first, before we get to that, we'll leave that for Dr. Smith. But what's happening to this young girl right now behind bars?
Well, first, as a defense attorney, I'm always going to say we have to presume that she's innocent until proven guilty. And that being said, she's going to be detained right now. They're probably going to try to bring together evidence to say that there's probable cause that this crime has been committed. The first thing that they're going to look at from the prosecutor's side is whether or not she should be tried as an adult. And they have what's called a certification hearing. For serious crimes like murder, typically they will try to try someone of that age as an adult just because of the seriousness of the crime.
All right, Dr. Smith, let's talk to you now. As we said, we've seen videos of those two together collaborating on social media, TikTok, looking like they're having a good time as mother and daughter.
Yeah, no, and I saw the video as well, and that very well could be the case. It's hard to hear that they might be charging her as an adult because our frontal lobe doesn't fully form until we're 25, which means impulse control, ability to fully understand the gravity of their actions isn't quite there yet. And so while we don't know what was going on, right, both things can be true in terms of them being able to have fun and create memories together, while also there being conflict. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was abuse or anything in the household. But again, what we also have to recognize when we have somebody who's 16 and we don't have the facts, we don't know. So I'm just, speaking generally.
And of course, we don't know if she actually did this.
That part too, right? That part
yeah.
too. But then what we have to understand is when we have a child who does such an act like that, their frontal lobe isn't fully formed, their executive functioning isn't developed yet. We don't know what role drugs, peer pressure, past traumas might be playing in this.
Are there any signs that parents can see, that family members can see, that friends can see that could cause them to step in and say, hey, get her some help?
Yeah. So, and here's the tough part, right? Because when you are in that age category, adolescence, 12 to like 21, you have a lot of hormonal changes going on. And so while things like isolation, change in behaviors are strong indicators, that isn't necessarily always an indicator also because, again, there's a lot of changes going on. They're forming identity, et cetera. So then what becomes important is when you start to notice drastic changes in behavior, whether that is sleeping, crying, bursts of anger, then that's when you start to have the conversation, right? Start to have more open conversations, start to do phone checks, start to see what type of media they're consuming, and then start to identify, do they need further support? Because what we also have to recognize is onset of severe mental illness like bipolar disorder, things like that, happen around that 20, 21-year-old age, but there's indications sometimes leading up to it.
And by OG, is it now the time that the courts will take a look at getting that psych evaluation done for her? Does that happen with juveniles as well?
Typically, especially on a case like this, you're going to want to do that type of evaluation. One thing that I forget your name, Dr. Bernadette mentioned was looking at media. There's a lot of violent images that children are exposed to. We know that Charlie Kirk just passed, and that shooting was played all throughout social media that kids have access to. And sometimes I wonder if children are just becoming more increasingly desensitized to violence, and so parents have a responsibility of making sure that their kids are not exposed to that.
All right. We want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored tonight.
I'm sick of this, talking about their brains aren't developed. But there's a whole lot of teens that brains are not developed, but they're not out there pow-powing their parents and everybody else. Let me just share screen again, get a little bit more information here. Devoted mom, 34, allegedly shot by teen daughter. She was screaming, and I heard boom. Tiamoya Moore, 34, died after being shot several times last week. Our authorities in Texas allege a 16-year-old fatally shot her mother last week before briefly fleeing on foot. Tiamoya Moore, 34, was killed after being shot several times in Galveston, Texas residence on Thursday, September 11. Galveston police said in a statement. Police responded to calls about a shooting on Thursday evening when they found Moore and transported her to a medical facility where she was pronounced dead. Police allege the suspect, later identified as Moore's 16-year-old daughter, fled the scene on foot. The teen, whose name was not publicly announced by police, returned to the crime scene as police were processing it. She was arrested without incident, police claimed in their statement. A neighbor who lives across the street from the shooting says she heard gunshots and hid in her home. She was screaming, and I hear boom, 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 boom. Garcia Molina told the news, "It was scary. I just ran." Moore was a devoted mom to her children, her childhood friend told the news. Tia would give you the shirt off her back. Tia loved her kids. She would do anything for her kids. She was very spiritual, very into God, changed her life around for God, said Alicia. On her Facebook account, Moore documented her journey getting sober over the last few months. I'm happy for me, she wrote in one of the posts in December. Galveston police said in their statement the teen is being held at a juvenile justice center on the offense of murder, but it wasn't immediately clear if the official charges had been filed. Moore's loved ones are still searching for answers. I just want to know what really happened, like what caused for that to get to this point, to where you take your own mama's life. That's what her friend said. A GoFundMe has been set up to assist with Moore's funeral expenses. The investigation is ongoing. Now that I'll say this, when it talks about her getting sober and she was maybe sober for a couple of months, sometimes the oldest child, they take, I don't know the right words to say, so bear with me, but I'm gonna say it like this. They kind of take a hit if they're the oldest and they're the first one, with their parent and their mother going through it, right? And then so I see this mother, I don't know, sober from what, alcohol, drugs, I'm not sure. So the 16-year-old might have saw more than the younger siblings have. And I don't know what could have perhaps happened between the 16-year-old and her mother. Either way, this is a sad situation. It's sad. Callie, your thoughts?
We don't know what this girl went through, what has been done to this girl or has been allowed to be done to this girl. The mother had a substance problem, and that is not a long time to be clean. That girl was 16 years old and you was clean, what they say, 4 months or something?
It was just a few months.
Yeah, so this woman been on something, probably that child whole life. Ain't no telling what has happened to that child. And I had a feeling that it was something more to this story. Because like everyone else is saying, a lot of kids don't have developed brains and they're not doing stuff like this. A lot of kids who have young parents have more of a friendship relationship or older sibling relationship than a traditional parental child relationship, because they're so close in age. I mean, I've seen people like that around me and they're thick as thieves, best friends, that doesn't mean that the child is going to hurt the parent because you guys have more of a friendship relationship. This one was only 34 years old. This girl was 16. So, I mean, that's almost like an older sister. But anyhow, we don't know what this girl has endured, but I have a feeling that when we get to questioning this girl, it's going to be just like that psychiatrist lady said. Something happened to this girl, or she might have even been being abused by the mom, maybe verbally or physically. It could have been that it now switched to being abused with religion. Because sometimes I've seen people get off substances and then they become obsessed with religion to the point where it's abusive to the people in their household. I've seen it. So something more was going on here. I don't think this girl just randomly did this because she's just evil and did this. I really feel that there was something happening to this child.
Yeah. But you know what? Then we still got to go back to seek help.
Yeah.
Because now whatever you thought you was going through, it's going to be worse now behind bars. Julius, your thoughts?
This young lady went through a lot. I do want more information to come out. She shouldn't have did what she did. But I think we need to know more about her upbringing. And it probably led her to just snapping, which is not okay. But I think we need to know more.
Wayne?
You know, like Callie said, what her mother's 34, she's 16, so the mother had about 18. It's like a sister. When you brought on the article, those two women that were there, was that the mother and the daughter?
I'm not sure.
Because it didn't say. One was the girl. I didn't know if they were the same person or the mother and the daughter. Because if that's the case, this is the way I saw it, that they probably partying together, probably got some of the same men. And I believe her mama was getting the attention of one of her friends, and she didn't like it. And a jealous rage. This is not, of course, this is not normal behavior, but this seemed like they were friends. You know how the older people say, like, no, my child's not my friend. They draw the line. But imagine 18, you have a child at 18, and the wisdom that people have that they raise children, whatever, you don't have no kind of wisdom like that. So I think this girl was raised up and they almost had like a big sister, little sister relationship. I don't see no motherly relationship there. I think they hung out together, they went out together, and I think somebody got jealous. That's it.
48.
Right now.
I feel like it was definitely dysfunction. I agree with Callie, Wayne, Julius too. Like it's more to the story. Kids just don't want to unalive their parents. They just don't do that. And to know that her mother was on substance, I can relate to that. I was taken out of that situation, but I can relate being an angry kid and putting myself in situations where I could have been locked up. As she definitely needs to have a consequence, because she took someone's life. But I think as we learn more about the story, I think that it's definitely going to come back with some kind of abuse or neglect, and she needs to get intense counseling. You know what I'm saying? To really, channel her anger and to accept herself and deal with herself. Um, to me, it's really sad. I really don't know what to say other than I just don't think children just react like that for no reason. Um, Something definitely was going on. But rest in peace to the mother.
Yeah, rest in peace to the mom. Katrina?
Yeah. Um, when she was saying her mom was on substance, she probably was raising the other kids because her mom probably was out of it all the time. I'm not for sure. I'm just saying allegedly. And also, I seen another article that she was partying with your child. But one thing is, you can't be listen. You can be a confidant to your child, but you can't be a child. You can't be your child friend because that's where the bond get messed up at. Because they're thinking, well, I can do what I want to do. We friends. You're not my mom. You're my mom, but I still can do what I want to do. That's how the things get crossed up. You can't, and I would never. The only time I party with my children is when I'm having a birthday party or something. I don't never party with my children, like going out to clubs and stuff with my child. That's ridiculous. That's something I won't do. Our age difference is two different brackets. I don't want to hear this type of music, and they don't want to hear mine. They don't want to listen to Gerald Levert and Smokey Robinson, them, which I know y'all mad with him anyway. But I'm just saying it's just in case. But and then for her to do this, it was like, I'm doing this and I don't want you back in my life because you out here did it pow pow pow. That was something you wanted to be final. That was something you wanted to be done with. I don't know what her mom did to her to make her go get the pow pow, but from the reaction is she didn't want to be bothered with her mom anymore because nobody is going to take their mom out if they was getting the love, the protection, and the understanding of what's going on with them. So something like everybody said, something else happened in that house. I don't know what happened in that house. We only going by what we read and what we hear. And like 48 said, rest in peace to the mom. I hope the child gets some help. But the thing of it is, when they're saying that the child brain is not fully formed, the thing is, you got babies out there know when something is wrong and something is right. They get trained. They come up knowing what's wrong, knowing what's right. 12 years old know what's wrong, what's right. So by them saying that she wasn't developed and that's the way she did it, no, we got plenty of kids out there that's smart. We got a 12-year-old just graduated from Yale. So you can't say that her brain is not fully formed and then she didn't know what she was doing. Maybe it's just me, but um, and I guess they can use like the psychopath thing for the mental thing for good luck because she gonna need a lot of counseling and a lot of other stuff going on. But that's all I got, Eva.
Warrior, your thoughts?
Unpopular opinion, probably, but I personally think this young lady. You said 17, right, Diva?
No, 16.
16. Okay, right next to each other.
Yeah.
The wonderful, beautiful Iyanla Vanzant. You know we love our girl auntie, right?
Yes.
And one thing that she said that has stuck with me for the rest of my life, and I think we've talked about this before, and that one thing she said is that everybody knows what they're doing until they are caught.
Woo! You better talk to the people.
You're 16. At 16, I'm sure you're probably aware, and this is a lot to put on a 16-year-old, but we have people who are grown adults who have been in worse situations, unfortunately, than what this young lady is. And I know people personally who have been in worse situations, and they didn't kill their parents, and their parents had a lot to do with what they were going through. But we have to start teaching our young folks that there has to be accountability for every decision that we make, be it good or bad. And unfortunately, she's going to have to learn early that this bad decision that you made is not just going to cost you, but it's going to cost your siblings because now they don't have a mom anymore. They're probably going to have to go, I hope not, but if the situation is not what it needs to be, these kids are probably going to be in the system, your younger siblings, because you can't take them because now you're going to be behind bars for an alleged crime that you possibly committed. I unfortunately, I really think this young lady knew exactly what she was doing. Whether, your mom was treating you right or not, yes, mother should have been treating you right, but it doesn't justify or excuse a decision like this. And that is a rough situation to be in, but I know plenty of other people that have been in rougher situations and they made it out making better decisions than this. Unfortunately, mama did the crime. She gonna have to do the time. It's very unfortunate.
Thank you.
Roy, you're not on the bus alone. I'm on the train with you. We sitting in the same seat.
We was. So my bad, Katrina.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll into this last story. And this last story is this singer David. Right now, you have to wait and get more evidence, but too many roads is leading to him. Something in the water ain't clean. At the very least, he's guilty of having a relationship with an underage minor. Let's just take a look at this. Hold on one second.
singer's car. We're breaking down the latest and where the investigation stands now, as the singer's rep maintains that he's fully cooperating with the investigation. Thanks for joining us on Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. Investigators say the remains were of a 15-year-old girl who was reported missing last year. But even with this new lead at this time, police are keeping tight-lipped if they have a suspect or a person of interest. Earlier this month, employees at a tow yard in Hollywood noticed a strong odor coming from one of the cars. The smell was so strong and foul, they had no choice but to call police. When officers arrived, that's when the startling discovery was made. A body was wrapped in plastic and dumped in the vehicle's trunk. When investigators dug into who that car belonged to, they learned it was registered to the singer David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke. Officials say that the car was towed from the Hollywood Hills after someone reported it missing. Investigators believe that the body was put in the trunk about 5 days before it was towed to the impound lot. Now, initially, we didn't know much, including who was the victim. Did the victim have ties to the singer? Was the singer a person of interest or a suspect? We're still waiting to learn more, but now investigators reportedly identified who the victim is. We're learning this week that the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner ID'd the victim as a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas. According to LAPD, the victim was 5'2", had wavy hair, and a tattoo on her right index finger that says shh. She was found wearing a tube top, black leggings, an earring, and a yellow metal chain bracelet. According to a report by TMZ, though, the singer David also had that exact same tattoo on his right index finger. But that doesn't necessarily equal murder suspect. It might be an odd coincidence, especially with other celebs like Lindsay Lohan, Rihanna, and Lily Allen sporting the same tat. Here's what else we know about 15-year-old Celeste. Her mom told local reporters she had been missing for more than a year. Her mom said when she saw the news of the body found in David's Tesla, it was suspicious to her because her daughter's boyfriend's name was also David. Little is known at this time about the events leading up to Celeste going missing. According to a missing poster, she was last seen on April 5th of 2024 in Lake Elsinore, California. That was when she was 13 years old. She was last seen wearing gray pants, a black sweater, hat, and Hello Kitty sandals. Attorneys for the singer say that he continues to cooperate with the investigation. While authorities haven't publicly said that he is a suspect, that hasn't stopped some people from jumping to their own conclusions. Some eagle-eyed fans pointed to David's previous songs as some kind of clues or messages, like Romantic Homicide, for example. His lyrics include, "In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you." Now, that song was released in 2022, 2 years before Celeste went missing and 3 years before her body was discovered. But again, it didn't stop some people from speculating. Then, in another report from TMZ released Wednesday, the singer professed his love to someone named Celeste in an unreleased song. According to the report, those unreleased tracks included the lyrics, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." The other verse included the lyrics, "Oh Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed, but I digress because..." Now, according to the report, that song was leaked in December of 2023, just months before Celeste was officially reported missing. And it's important to note, no official confirmation Celeste in the leaked song is the same Celeste found in the car. Companies like Crocs and Hollister pulled their marketing campaigns after Celeste's body was discovered too. In a joint statement, the brands wrote, "We are aware of this developing story. With respect to the current situation, we have removed campaign content featuring David while the investigation continues." According to a previous report by TMZ, it was police who told David that there was a body inside his Tesla because he had no idea what was going on. But it's still unclear how the car registered to him ended up in a tow lot if it wasn't even reported missing. Again, the singer's rep says that he has been cooperating, but we learned today he's pausing his current world tour. According to TMZ, he was supposed to hit the stage in Seattle for a concert, but sources tell the outlet that concert was canceled and the rest of his tour is on pause. Following the latest in the investigation, ABC7 Eyewitness News reports a house close to where the Tesla was abandoned was searched. Dozens of investigators were reportedly seen taking a computer and other items from a home in Hollywood. Some homeowners told the news outlet they remembered seeing that Tesla for a while, either parked at the house where police conducted their search or at other spots on the same street. But as of this recording, he isn't named as a suspect and no criminal charges have been filed against him. So the mystery and investigation continues. I'm joined now by retired FBI agent Colin Schmidt. Colin, thank you so much for joining me. What's your reaction to this latest development as the medical examiner says that the body found in the trunk was a 15-year-old girl?
Well, it looks like it's a terrible, terrible tragedy for that 15-year-old girl's family is obviously the victim. And the fact that she was found in a trunk, it indicates that there's some level of foul play with this. And it's only going to get more interesting and probably more tragic as the story comes out.
And I think probably, the biggest part of this story is that the car that the victim was found in was registered to a very popular singer. And we know that the singer is cooperating with the investigation, and officials haven't named him as a suspect or a person of interest. But in your opinion, with the information that we know now, do you think that he has anything to do with it?
Well, the problem is for whoever did this, a Tesla is nothing more than a rolling supercomputer. Mm-hmm. So it's going to have all kinds of information in there when they get when the engineers get in and get all the data. So I'm confident they're going to know exactly what happened in a very short period of time. And then the fact that there's such a close connection between the decedent and this rapper, it's only going to get more interesting, like I said, as far as what really happened.
And it's interesting, too, kind of the circumstances as we're learning more, because the victim's mom even told police that she got suspicious it was her daughter because her daughter also had a boyfriend named David. Do you think that that's just a terrible coincidence? And also we're learning that they both had this tattoo on their index finger with the letters sh written on it, kind of similar to a lot of other celebrities, especially kind of in the millennial era, who also had that same tattoo. But do you think this is all just a terrible coincidence?
Well, unfortunately, in violent crime, there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's a coincidence is actual circumstantial evidence. Mm. So all these data points are starting to point towards this rapper. We don't know what his role was, and if indeed he did have anything to do with it. But it does appear that there's some sort of culpability that this rapper is going to have with this girl's death.
And where does the investigation or investigators really go from here? They know the identity of the victim. The cause of death right now is listed as deferred, but what happens next?
Well, the most important piece of evidence is the body. The body tells the entire story. So as I understand it from social media, that the medical examiner has not finished their investigation. And then the next step of that would be obviously the toxicology reports, which take a couple of days to a couple of weeks to get back. And then that's going to point the investigators in the direction of where to take their next steps, as well as the search of the interior of the compartment that she was found in and the passenger compartment. Because if there was any blood or any signs of foul play or violence, then that obviously points into a direction that they need to go.
And what's going to be more important to the investigation, finding out what happened inside that car, if anything happened inside that car, or the forensic evidence in the car, or is it going to be finding where the scene of the crime actually took place and kind of working backwards really from there?
Well, working backwards is from the body, and the body will start is basically points all the directional arrows, so to speak, on where to go, and then from there, obviously, they go and do a forensic analysis of that car. And then, like I said, the most important piece of that car is that onboard computer, which has so much information that even Tesla owners don't know what the extent of the information that car has on it. And I'm fairly confident that the owner of the car wasn't sophisticated enough to know how to wipe or to get rid of that information that's on that car.
Does it change anything? We know the Tesla car is kind of like a smart car. And even though I'm not as technologically savvy as you are, Colin, I'm interested in knowing, does it change anything in terms of the investigation because the car was towed over into that impound lot? Does that change anything in terms of the data that might be on that car or anything like that?
No, I mean, when the car is on, it's gathering thousands and thousands of data points. Now it was off, basically. We can presume that it was on up until the time it was towed. So they know where it was when it was towed to that. So the tow part isn't really mean anything other than chain of custody. So from the time that it was sitting there or towed back 24, 48, or even 2 weeks, they're going to be able to know exactly where that car was, whether it was an accident. There's even cameras, interior and exterior, that are taking footage. So they're going to end up likely knowing who was in the car prior to it being disposed of.
And say, you know, because we know that this is also, again, a very, very big story because it kind of surrounds the singer David, because the car was registered to him. But say investigators learn, you know, he has been cooperating with the investigation. Again, he hasn't been named as a suspect or anything like that. But say investigators learn that he was out on tour, or he was at an event or something. He has an alibi for the time frame that they believe the murder took place. What happens next in terms of how they find possibly who might else be involved in this?
Well, they're also going to find her phone. Possibly, they didn't say whether the phone was on her or not. And then the phone obviously is, especially for a 15-year-old, her whole life is in that phone. So they're going to be able to establish her circle of friends and start interviewing all of those people, as well as interviewing all the people around this rapper to see this music artist, to see if they know anything and they know what exactly happened. I mean, the bottom line is you don't crawl into a car and close the hood. You know, somebody had to have put her in that car, whether she was alive or dead when it happened. That will be something that the investigators will definitely find out. And I believe it happened in the LAPD territory. Correct. And they're considered the best homicide investigators in the world. So I have absolute certainty that they're going to determine who did this or what happened.
And even that whole other aspect, because again, we're just learning this information pretty much today, is that she was reported missing about a year ago. How important is that time frame of when she was missing and how long of a period that was? How will that kind of play into her death investigation?
Well, I think that's important that the family lost track of her a year ago, but it still comes right back to that car and what was going on in the car prior to the tow truck picking it up, and then being able to establish the timeline. So in any investigation or violent crime investigation, the timeline is the most important. So they're going to have a timeline starting from when the car was found or when it was reported, and they'll go back 24, 48, or even 2 weeks, and they'll be able to identify every place that car was and likely where she was. And they'll be able to fill in the blanks and then identify who was involved in her death. Now, she may have not been killed. She may have died of a drug overdose and somebody put her in the car. Either way, somebody's responsible for her being in that vehicle.
Yeah, and I'm sure investigators and even her family are trying to find out what happened to her, if they can gather any type of details to figure out what all had happened. Colin, I want to thank you so much for your time and your insight into this case. I did have one final question for you. In terms of investigating a case like this, where you have very little to go off of, how different is it to investigate a case like this now in 2025, where you have surveillance cameras, you have smart cars that gather all this technology and information, as opposed to maybe like 20 years ago, where we didn't have all this technology readily available like we do now?
Well, I think it kind of on its face, it appears cognitively that it should be easier, but in fact, it's actually harder because the investigators are just overloaded with data and information. And at some point, AI will probably be taking a role in these kind of investigations to sift through the mountains of data that these investigators receive from their court orders to Tesla or to the iPhone or wherever, to kind of be able to filter out all the noise and be able to get to the point. 20 years ago, it was a matter of just going and interviewing people and getting their story. Now it's a whole different story with all these data points that investigators have to sift through.
And so with that being said, do you see that there might be a possibly end in sight in terms of the investigation anytime soon, or do you think that this might be a very long investigation?
Well, based upon it was in a Tesla, I would speculate that it's not going to be long. If it was in like a Mustang from the 60s that has no onboard computing ability, it would be kind of a different story. But like I said, that Tesla has so much data in it, and there's so many tools out there that will aid the investigators on getting through that data. I expect that they likely will quickly know exactly what happened to that girl.
I'm sure, and I hope that they find out soon what happened to her, because it's just devastating overall, just how horrible this case truly is. Again, Colin Schmidt, thank you so much for your time and insight into this case. I really appreciate it.
super sad. I just want to share something else really quickly, and then we'll have a discussion about this. Hold on one second. Let me just pause this so we can share. Okay. Let me share screen. Haunting call. Celeste Rivas family got chilling warning before body found in David's Tesla after her relationship with him from 13. A family source spoke to the U.S. Sun about the teen's disappearance in 2024. The 15-year-old who was found dead in the trunk of singer David's car allegedly struck up a worrying relationship with him years earlier, and her family begged police for help. Celeste Rivas' body was found on September 8th after workers at Hollywood Tow Yard detected a foul smell coming from a Tesla. Her decomposing corpse, hold on one second, guys. Her decomposing corpse was found bagged and stuffed inside the car that was registered to New York-born singer David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke. The singer is said to be cooperating with authorities and has not been arrested or charged. Police reportedly searched a home in Hollywood Hills this week that the singer had been staying at but does not own, according to ABC News. The U.S. Sun has reached out to Burke and the LAPD for a comment on the case, but did not hear back. The case is being investigated as a homicide, and the cause of death was listed as deferred, according to authorities. Celeste was initially reported missing in April 2024, and her family made social media posts asking for help to find the teenager, although they later went quiet. This case is interesting. Photographs of Celeste and Burke together have since emerged on Reddit from social media, and now a family source claims the pair were together around the time she disappeared. The source, who is close to Celeste's mother, Mercedes Martinez, told the U.S. Sun they are all devastated over the teen's death and claim they begged police for help. The insider, speaking in Spanish, it said the family was aware of Celeste's relationship with Burke. The source said, I don't know a lot, but I don't understand why the police didn't do more. For a period, Celeste came back home by herself and stayed with her mom, but the police weren't involved. Why didn't they ask her, where were you? Are you okay? I don't know when she came back, but then she disappeared again and went back to him. I know someone called her mom and said, stop looking for her. She's fine. They told the family to take down the social media posts about her being missing. It is not known who the alleged caller was or whether they were connected to David in any way. The source said they themselves took down a post asking for help as they were scared the situation was out of hand. The insider was sickened to hear of the gruesome details reported about Celeste's death and said they are desperate for justice. Family hurt. Celeste leaves behind her parents, Mercedes and Jesus, a brother Matthew, and a half-sister Jennifer. The U.S. Sun has made multiple attempts to reach her family. Rivers' brother told the news that they knew she was dating the singer and claimed she ran off with him in 2024 after he regularly picked her up in the same Tesla her body was found in. The U.S. Sun source said, who has known Celeste since she was a baby, sobbed as they described the teen as a very happy girl. They said, it hurts me a lot because I basically saw her grow up. She will often come and visit. She did well in school, studied a lot. She was very mature for her age. She would help her mom, and she was great with children. Sources claim the Daily Mail that Rivas' relationship with the singer was an open secret, and she had been skipping classes at Lakeland Middle School before she vanished in 2024. It's not known when or how Rivas and Burke first connected, but they are believed to have been hanging out when she was at least 13. Riverside County Sheriff's Office confirmed to the U.S. Sun on Thursday that deputies were dispatched to the house in Lake Elsinore on April the 5th, 2024, at 9:47 p.m. regarding the report of a runaway. Upon arrival, deputies spoke with the reporting party, who advised the female juvenile had left the location in an unknown direction, they said. Deputies conducted a search of the area but were unable to locate the female juvenile. The family was entered into the missing person database as a runaway, and the report was forwarded to investigators for follow-up. The investigation remained ongoing. They say on September the 17th, 2025, the Riverside Sheriff's Office received notification from the Los Angeles Police Department that the missing female identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been located and was identified as the victim of a death investigation. The U.S. Sun further asked if there was ever a press conference or media alert regarding the missing teen, but did not hear back. Rivas' family has since launched a GoFundMe writing. As many of you know, Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been identified as the body last week. She was a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. The statement continued. Her family is heartbroken and devastated by the tragic loss. They are seeking help to lay her body to rest. Any funds you are able to donate are greatly appreciated. Rivers' mom told TMZ she had been in a relationship with someone called David and feared the worst when police asked for help to identify the young woman found in the Tesla. Burke returned to Los Angeles after canceling Wednesday's show in Seattle, but has not yet commented publicly on Celeste's death. In one leaked song from 2023, the artist 20 fantasized about someone called Celeste, while another one of his tracks has the title Romantic Homicide. One of which is titled Celeste read description, and in the track, Burke appeared to proclaim his love for Celeste. Oh, Celeste, the star sings, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Burke mentions Celeste again in the second verse, saying, oh, Celeste, afraid you only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Mentioning you so much makes me depressed, but I digress because Celeste went missing from her family home in Lake Elsinore, around 69 miles from Los Angeles, in April 2024. Flyers show that she was last seen wearing gray pants, a black sweater, a hat, and Hello Kitty sandals. One neighbor near the family's home in Lake Elsinore told the U.S. Sun they were stunned to hear she was missing for so long, as they had not heard anything from the family or the police. I was wondering why there were so many news trucks outside, she said on Wednesday. I think I recognized the missing person flyer from a long time ago, but then it was taken down. Nobody ever came to our house, which is strange. We'd not heard anything about it. It's a very quiet neighborhood. I've been here for many years. I haven't seen the family out or anything. It's horrible to hear what has happened. I have a daughter. I have to keep an eye on her. I can't imagine how they are feeling. Very sad. But to know that they got calls, to know that they, tried to find her, then they was kind of maybe forced to take down these flyers looking for her. This is getting shadier and sadder by the minute. Julius, your thoughts?
Definitely suspicious. And it's just not clear. But I just hope that the police is just biding their time and they're going to make an arrest. That is concrete and solid. Rest in peace to this young woman. I'll say again. But if this person did do it, I hope he's locked up soon.
Yeah. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yes, Diva. How old is this guy again?
He's 20.
He's 20. So even 18, I think that's still statutory or rape. And she let the police know that she was with this guy. Didn't the mom let the police know that she was dating this guy?
The mom just knew that he had a boyfriend named David. The mom never laid eyes on him, but there were
Okay.
other families that clearly knew that, it was an open secret that she was dating this singer.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like I'm not saying that he didn't do it or did do it, but you'll be a fool to put somebody in the trunk while you going on tour. I think if he would have did that, I think he would have just took the car somewhere else because the car was towed to a car lot. I mean, to a tow company, and the body's in there. Did she get in there trying to go with him on tour, and he told her she couldn't go? I don't. It's like you said. It's a lot of strange things with
She
this
didn't
case
put
because it ain't make.
herself in there. Her body was dismembered.
Yeah. Oh God. Child.
Self-made.
Yeah. I mean, this is ridiculous. This. Oh my God. Girls, stop chasing these stars or rappers or whoever they is, because you don't know what kind of mind they got, and then you young too. She still was young. I mean, girl, you wouldn't even pass 18 yet. I mean, rest in peace to her. But sometimes when you listen to it's better to listen to your mom. If your mom trying to tell you don't do this, I think the best thing to do is try to listen to your mom so you won't end up in no kind of condition like this. Cause you got these girls out here, they don't listen to their parents. Some of them do, some of them don't. But you got some fast ones out here that don't listen to their parents. And like my mom used to say, a hard head make a soft behind. And rest in peace to her. And if he did it, yes, he most definitely need to be locked up. But I was telling y'all the other night, those Tesla cars have those cameras on it. So we would know something. Well, I guess when they get through finding all the investigation or whatsoever, we'll know something then from the cameras. But that's all I got, Diva.
Callie, your thoughts?
First of all, he's going to jail for messing with this girl and having this girl in his house. The girl was reported missing. The sheriff's department was looking for her, quote unquote. I don't know how hard they were looking, but they was it was reported. Now, am I to understand that the family never even asked the neighbors had they seen her? Because that's what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
That means this is what I believe. I believe that the family knew, at least the mom. I don't know if the dad and the mom are still together, but I believe that at least the mom knew that she was with this dude, but she felt like the dude had money, so she allowed it. I don't want people to misunderstand these things because I don't want people to think I'm being prejudiced or anything like that. I love people of all cultures. I love to learn about other cultures. I love to travel, all of that. But I'm telling you, I have had women and teenage girls tell me that are from certain countries that this is normal in those countries. So it could be. I mean, this guy is only 20. He's not 40. So it could be something where the mom, on some level, thought this was okay. I thought the mom had reached out to TMZ. No, they got an anonymous tip, and they contacted the mom, who said she couldn't speak English, not realizing she was talking to a person that spoke Spanish. That is how they got some of this information about the boyfriend's name being David and the tattoo and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know, to be honest with you, if it is the truth that the mom can't speak English. I'm just being honest. It could be, it could not be. But I do think, and also, I don't know if her brother is an adult. So I don't want to put him in it. Because it sounds like he knew too, but I don't know how old he is. But it kind of sounds like the mother allowed this. Now, as far as what happened to this girl, it does not make sense that he would do this and leave her remains in his own vehicle parked in front of his house. Because the car was essentially parked in front of his house. It was on the street, it wasn't directly in front of his house. You know how sometimes you can't find a parking space, so you park somewhere else. But essentially it was in front of his house. It sounds like, I'm gonna be honest, it sounds like one of these crazy LA stories where he probably owed the wrong person money and they left her there for him to find, not knowing that he wasn't coming back right away. That's what it sounds like to me. I think this is unfortunately going to go down as one of these crazy LA kind of dark tales like the Black Dahlia, all these other weird things that happen in this city. This man was driving, and I'm not even exaggerating, 75 miles out into the desert to go pick up this little 13-year-old girl. That's how far it was from Hollywood to her house. I don't even know how they met. Her teacher saying that they met on social media. Now, I'm not sure if he's just assuming this or if she told him this, because there is a video of the teacher kind of telling other kids, like, you know, don't be talking to people on social media, you know, explaining what happened, that she actually left with him a second time. She left with him once, came back and left with him again, and they met on social media. Now, I don't know if he is assuming that or if he knows that 100% for sure. I have no idea. But I'm wondering, there's a whole lot of girls his own age here in Los Angeles or in the Hollywood area. What is he doing talking to this little 13-year-old girl all the way out in Lake Elsinore? Like, this whole story is weird, but unless there is some definitive evidence, him being the person that unalived her doesn't quite make any sense, because what was the plan? It almost sounds like, you know, he got on the side of the wrong person. They grabbed her, left her there in the car to send a message to him, but he did not return to get the message. He was actually on tour, and maybe they didn't know that at the time. Either way, he's gonna serve some time, because he had no business with this girl, and the mom reported her, so they're gonna charge that as a kidnapping.
The part that I'm not liking is that they were told to take these missing persons flyers down. I don't know if this is
now the mom told them to do that, or the sheriff.
No. They say they got a phone call from somebody telling them to take these missing person flyers down. And then they stopped kind of going to the cops and pursuing it because they got scared, because they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, that could have been her or him could have called, or whoever the person that called TMZ, because there's a third person involved in this story, whoever this person is that called TMZ. Now, I don't know if it's her brother. I don't know if it's some other friend. But somebody called TMZ when this first happened, when the car was first found, and said that they believed that that was her in the car.
Yeah, well, either way, something in the water ain't clean. He had no business being with her.
No, none at all. No,
at the very least, he had no business being with her. So this is a mess. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. She was definitely too young, but for me, it's just like I feel like the mom should get in trouble too. I don't like. How do you not know? You say you know, but then you don't know. It's an open secret. What the hell does that mean? You know what I'm saying? And like Callie said, to me, it just doesn't make sense for him to do it. Like it just doesn't make sense. And then to leave it in a Tesla, of all cars, like that guy said, the reporter or the cop, it's a driving computer. They have cameras on the inside, cameras on the outside, cameras underneath. Like, it's like, what it just doesn't make sense. But he does. Now, I'll say this too. Like Callie said last night, his music is kind of dark. My kid told me he heard of him, but I never heard of him until you talked about it. And his music is kind of dark, but his lyrics are kind of like weird in romantic homicide. You know what I'm saying? It is kind of different. And then for him to say like, he hears her voice and all this, people can read into it, you know, but it doesn't make sense that he would do it. But the lyrics are freaky.
The lyrics are very freaky. It's eerie. It's like art imitating life. Wayne.
Well, I think they should try to go after establish some kind of a relationship. and her being a minor. Because this girl was missing since she was 12, 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously she was alive, and she was, he knew about it. He was with her. I don't know now that she's gone if they can establish that there was actually, having any kind of affair. But at the least, I want to see him charged for being with a minor. And he's 20 years old, because I don't think I'm going to need to hear more, because all this stuff points to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's circumstantial. I'm not saying he did it or if he had any reason to do it, but his song, Romantic Homicide, I'm like, oh, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's in you comes out of you.
Oh, you said a word right there. Come on.
So I'm not buying that he's innocent. I just think, but I want them to do a complete investigation, because most of it's circumstantial to really get to it, though. But no, I don't think you have a Tesla, you this, that, you whatever, something. If you're not there, you done left the Tesla in the hands of somebody else. Somebody knows something. So I think, like that sheriff says, once they get inside the Tesla, they're going to get more information and can solve it. That's it.
Oh, yeah. This doesn't look good. It's a shame. A young lady is gone. Parents, we got a parent. And you're not going to scare me and punk me out of like looking for my daughter. No, I'm going to keep going to the cops. I'm going to keep putting flyers up everywhere. My foot is going to be on your neck. And I would have told the cops she was dating somebody named David, because there was other people. They said it was the best kept open secret, because he wasn't hiding. He literally was coming to pick her up in that Tesla. But the fact that when it comes to money, people, anything goes, is very sad. But we have heard, and don't name no names, don't say nothing, but we have heard so many celebrities that were dating the people they with when they was underage, and when the age leveled out, that's when they came public with the relationship. But she would have had a whole more 3-4 years to go before they could have came real public with that relationship. And there's a video out there where they was live streaming together, and they was asking, how can we delete this live stream once it's done? So he has too much history with her. He has pictures of them two together. There's live streams of those two together. And now we got the family saying that pretty much when she ran away, she was living with him. Now they also said in that article I read that there was a point where she came back home and then she went back. And unfortunately, when she went back, it was the death of her. Who did it? We don't know, but she not here, so we know somebody unalived her. And you don't jump in a car, wrap yourself up in plastic, break your body parts. And you don't do that to yourself. Just like they declared, I think I'll do the update tomorrow. I think the coroner's office want to try to say the young man at the college that he took his own life, and I'm calling BS on that. Just like I don't believe this girl did anything to herself. I don't think she took some drugs and then she died and then they wrapped her up. Something is not right with this. But listen, guys, we've been on here a long time. I got to cut these stories down a little bit shorter, but I do appreciate y'all, right? So y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, do me a favor, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo, choo.
Choo, choo.
Night, night.
Good night.